And just like that, it is another Thursday night. Welcome to another episode of the Indie Escape Network presents World Class Clown with your host, Mr. Robert Bass.
What's going on? Look, I put on the hat.
Woo!
I figured I'll put on the hat for everybody. How's it going?
Good. How are you
Ah,
doing
man,
after
I'm
an
good.
amazing weekend?
Man, amazing no. Amazing is not even the term. It was better than amazing. Better than
Okay,
amazing.
for those that don't know, you were at this joint this weekend in Tennessee,
Yep.
correct?
Yep. Clarksville, Tennessee. Joker Comedy House. Yep. Yep.
And you were headlining there, no less.
Yep. 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 I
And
don't
not only did you do that one, you did a benefit one afterwards.
Yep. Yep. Two in one night. Two in one night. Sometimes you get lucky and you're able to, after that first one, you get a little breath and you're able to get a second one in. The second one may not be as long as the first. Usually it's the other way around. Like the first one would be shorter and then the second one would be longer. But for me,
We're still
it was the
talking
opposite.
comedy, right?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. That's exactly what we're talking about. But yeah, so it was two in one night. Man. It was a great time. A great time was had by all. Yeah. Definitely.
Okay, so you're gonna keep us in suspense,
Well,
or
we got to do housekeeping, man, because you know me. I
housekeeping?
start talking, and you be like,
All right. You're absolutely correct. Ladies and gentlemen, if it's your first time tuning in, or if you've tuned in multiple times and you have not already, please go to our social medias, give us a like and follow. Doesn't cost you a thing, only takes a second, means the absolute world to us. And if you're not aware, Generation Movie is on Monday nights at 9 p.m. Robert, when are you going to finally remind me to change that to 9 p.m.? And, I can use some
"Hey,
help here,
Joe,
man.
you need to change
It,
that to 9 p.m."
and then, of course, we have Loud and Nerdy with JW, Kyle, and Jerry on Tuesday nights. Gabe's had a few cool shows that just came out recently. You may be interested in this next one coming up, but let me plug two more things first, and then we'll get to that.
Okay.
If you guys, anybody in the Orlando area, we're going to be shooting Harlow's Haunt 2 soon, so pay attention to that, please. And if you haven't already, tune into David Lee Madison's Full Moon Fever, available on Amazon Prime Video now. David and Scott Chiaffo from Clerks had a show on our network on Sunday nights. Werewolf flick. Do it. Right? Are you guys behaving ourselves?
Of
Absolutely
course
not.
not.
I was just talking about you, and Gabe's gonna have to throw his name at me because I can't. Oh, where did I? Oh crap! Give me a second. Talk
Yep.
amongst yourselves for a second. That means you, because I got to do something real fast because I
oh,
screwed up.
oh, okay. Yeah. So people, Joe doesn't know how to change 10 p.m. to 9 p.m. That's one thing, and now there's something else he's supposed to do, but he screwed up. So what are we gonna do? What are you gonna do? Maybe
Where's my
just came in. Santorio,
Centauri?
aka Tommy Pistol.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm trying to pull up right now. Hold on a
Ah,
second.
yeah. You trying to pull up your Tommy Pistol? Whoa, it's not that kind of show,
Hey,
Joe. Calm
it
down.
is. Hey,
No
it
Diddy.
is. It- man,
That's
just remember who pushes the buttons.
okay. Yeah. Okay.
There it
I'm
is.
looking for something. I'm getting old.
Uh, I'm getting
So,
old too. This is very unprofessional of me because I can't
well, I
see
mean, oh man, you see this thing? Want me to resend the title card?
for the
No,
Tommy
that's what.
Gunn one. That's what
I
I'm
don't.
looking for. Yes. If so, Gabe,
Yes,
if that's you, yes,
yeah.
because I
That's
can't
that
see.
is
I'm
Gabe.
blind. Okay. Yes, that's what I'm actually looking for. I don't know, man. I need to get a hat like that, I think. But
No,
mine
no,
doesn't
no.
have
So
the propeller
technically
on it.
speaking, okay. So this was an engagement hat. Like there's pictures for the engagement, and this was the engagement hat. But I think I like it more so with the little boop, boop, boop right there. He said he just
Eh?
resent it.
Yeah,
All right.
I see that. All right, so I'm gonna pull that picture up right now, and then let's
So
see.
so I have this thing, this apparatus. I don't
I'm
want to give
sorry.
away. I don't want to give away no free advertisement before the time, but there's this video game system. I'll say it that way. It's handheld. And so when I initially bought it, like I bought it for one reason, but that one reason was not working. Um,
Is
but
this the
I
one
what
that has a new one coming out soon?
that's what they say. Ain't that a motherfucker? So I'm like, well, whatever. Ooh, excuse me. So I see this video, and in the video, the guy's like, yeah, I go to the airport and I link in and I can do this. Da, 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 da. So I'm like, all right. So as I'm flying out this past weekend, I say, you know what? I'll take it. So I took it, and yeah, man. The ironic part is it won't work for this one particular game when I'm in my house, but it'll work at the airport and it works at the hotel. Like
Oh,
it's the
that's messed
weirdest
up.
thing. Yeah, I was like, what the hell? And then I'm sitting there in the airport looking like a big ass kid, and it's kind of huge. So I'm sitting like, and I could feel people looking like, yeah, he's too old to be playing video games. And there was
Or were they more thinking, who did he steal? What kid did he steal that from?
yeah, no.
No.
My wife went with me, so she always looks like we have money. So, you know, they probably put it together. Now, if anything negative, they probably thought, uh, his wife buys him stuff like, and that's not
He's got a
necessarily,
sugar mama.
yeah, and that's not necessarily untrue. Like, yeah, like
All right.
I come home tonight and yeah.
Oh no. Okay, you come home tonight and what?
Yeah, no, I got stuff that after the show I got to
Was there a
shower
new
and try on.
Mercedes in the car in the driveway
No,
again?
no, no, no,
No.
not that fortunate.
Harley?
No,
No, no.
now I
All
got a
right. So
bicycle that I got for my birthday that I don't ride, but
so this is the gentleman that Gabe was referring to.
okay.
Now, Robert, there's a lot on the screen, man. Can you read that?
Uh, which part?
Uh, the
Symbolistic
the
cynicism.
star above that.
Okay, so there's Hamilton. Wow, a musical porn parody. Oh, I gotta
And
wait.
then
Hold on, let
there's
me.
the evil. What the hell
Evil
was that?
Head. Yep, and then Breakout. And then wait a minute, what's this other one up in the corner on the face or on the edge? On the edge. Okay.
And Missy Defina is saying, "Yes,
Yeah.
she knows about this. This is going to be next Wednesday. Her and her friends
Wow.
are looking forward. So apparently, this guy has been in adult movies and some porn parodies, and he's making the transition over to regular film.
Mm. Um. Shoot, what's the lady's name? I can't think of her name, but she was a pretty popular Spanish actress, and she made the transition once. I don't know if there's any other movies. But she was in
Mm,
Bernie Mac's last movie.
uh,
Kind of doing the same thing, but whatever. It happens.
didn't I mean, wasn't the rumor back in the day that Tracy Lord was like underage and did that stuff, and then transition to regular acting?
I don't know who that is.
I know several adult film stars who have done that. All right. There's a really rich blonde lady. I can't think of her name right now, but what does it say? Hey, host Robert Bass, bring on guest Robert Bass. Okay, so they're
Yeah.
making fun of me because of the way I made the show card.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Because
yeah.
usually we have a guest on the left hand side.
So here's okay. So let me explain. Okay, so the flyer comes out and it says Rob Bass, and I'm like, yo. Well, you know what? I'm not gonna say nothing. I'm gonna just let it go. And so there was this whole thing. There was this whole thing about the picture, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
so let me just start from the beginning. If this were a movie, or even a made-for-TV movie, the movie would start off with me right here, right now, in this moment, saying, "If this was a movie, I would probably title it Know Your Worth. It's fun here. And then we would do a flashback, but not like back to when I was a little asshole kid in class, but back to the 28th of February of this year. So on February 28th, I do a Don't Tell show. It's down in Boca. Now I have these jokes that I'm trying to work out, and Don't Tell is really a great place to do it because the crowd comes for comedy. So generally speaking, you can't go wrong. You might have a moment here or there where a joke doesn't hit the way that you want it, but you're also trying it out. But for the most part, you kind of know what's going on. So get there and I do the show. And for whatever reason, that night I could not do wrong. Like even the moments where I kind of went off subject and then brought it back, man, it was masterful to do. I can only imagine what it was like watching it. So the other thing was I was working those jokes out because on March 8th, I had a show locally. Joe, you know this show. So here we go. We come, it's March 8th. Come in. You know, the crowd was decent. I had a great deal of people from work. Joe was there. Your wife was there. Like it was a good time, right? So I get off the stage, and that night, I think me and my wife go to the I think we go to the Waffle House. I don't know. It probably was the Waffle House. I'm pretty certain it was the Waffle House. But that night I'm feeling like, oh my goodness. Yeah, nope, I know. We definitely went to the Waffle House because her cousin went with us. So we go to the Waffle House. And as they're talking, in my mind, I'm mapping out, okay, this year has to be different, but it has to start with me. So I'm like, okay, there's some festivals going on. I gotta go ahead and enter these festivals. They're out of state. I know one of them is in Ashbury or Ashburg, North Carolina. There's one that is just named the North Carolina Comedy Fest. So like I'm doing all of this research and I'm like, I got to put myself out there. Florida is great and headlining in certain places in Florida. It's great. But here's my mind. So I'm like, okay, whatever. Now, remember when DJ was on the show, toward the end of the show, he says, hey, I'm going to bring you out. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to talk to your wife. You guys pick a date. I'll bring you out. I'm like, okay, cool. So I have this conversation with myself after March 8th. I got to go harder. Got to do what I need to do, so forth, so on. And then I get this call toward the end of the month. And who is it? It's DJ. And DJ's like, hey, brother, what's going on? And I'm like, not much, man. What's going on with you? Hey, man, I'm just calling you to see about April 4th. And I'm like, hold on. Oh, bro, that's like a week and a half from now. And he says, yeah, it's kind of tight, but and I was like, all right, let me talk to the wife and I'll call you back. And he was like, all right, hurry up, brother. I'm like, okay, boom, hang up. And I think I called the wife. No, I know my wife was in the meeting. So I sent her a text and I'm like, hey, here's what's happening. April 4th, I have a chance to go to Tennessee. And I also shoot a message out to my brothers. And I'm like, hey, April 4th, I have a chance to go to Tennessee. Let me know what you think. And I send it and they started responding. But then it dawned on me like, yo, you said you wanted to be different. You couldn't do this year like you did last year or the previous years. Fuck it. Call him back. I say, hey, you know what? I'm not waiting on my wife to respond. I said I wanted to do different. Book me. 4th, I'm down. So then he says, all right, let me call you back and I'll get you the details. Fine, whatever. So now I go to work, like, because I'm driving to work when I get this call. So like now I'm on cloud nine. I'm like, this shit better pop off. So he does call me back and he's like, look, I got a better date for you. How about the 12th and the 13th? I say, I mean, shit, you only gave me an extra week, but whatever. I was willing to do it in a week and a half. I'm willing to do it in 2 weeks and a half. So We fast forward. His things are going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. He's like, "Hey, do you have a picture? Do you have a picture? I need a picture." And I'm like, "Bruh, I kind of need to update my headshots. Like, I got
Where have
pictures."
I heard that before? I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
So I'm like, and the whole thing was, I thought I would have had time, if that makes sense, right? Like, I didn't expect just out of nowhere, boom, here comes this opportunity. So I'm like, "Bruh, I really need to update my headshots. I can send you some stuff that I have
That
or
explains
whatever."
the beard.
Right. So the craziest part about this is that is not a professional headshot. Like, that picture was literally taken in the room where I am now. I just had different lighting and boom. And it just worked out. And if I knew that was the one they was going to use, I could have just gave them kind of a doctored up one and kept it moving. But anyway, now the flyer starts to come out. I'm like, okay, now me and my wife, we kind of going back and forth whether or not she gonna go, whether I'm going. Are you going? Well, I don't have to go if you don't want me to go. No, 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 no. We just have to get everything in order so we can go. All right. So now we got to take care of the dogs. All of this is now in the back of my mind. I'm still like, yo, this is still huge. Okay. So we end up flying out on the 11th. So we get the dogs situated. Now we're about to fly out. Meantime, between getting the call and us flying out, my aunt passed. And so
Sorry.
the first thought was, okay, well, we'll do the funeral on the 5th of April. And I'm like, okay, well, if they do it on the 5th, I'll make the funeral. It is what it is. But no, then something comes up and it ends up not being until the 12th. And I'm like, I'm not going to be there. That's just it. So, my wife has been going through a lot of loss lately. So that kind of hit her a little different. And she's like, well, are you sure you want to go? And I'm like, yeah. I feel low key it's a test. And this is going to sound rude when I say it, but understand there was no malice when I said it. Like, my aunt is not going to know whether I was at her funeral or not. She's dead. It's her funeral. So we get on the plane. We go out. we fly into Nashville. So we get a room in Nashville. And the first day, it was about my wife. Whatever she wanted to do, because I knew the 12th and the 13th was going to be me. So first thing we do, we go to this restaurant during the day, but that night we go to Aquarium. Aquarium is a restaurant with an aquarium in it.
Is that where you got the catfish?
No. I got the catfish from Chicago's House of Chicken and Waffles, which is ironic because I got the catfish. But when then the second dish that was kind of like darker, I got that from Aquarium. So you eating fish, looking at fish. Okay. Paula Dean has a restaurant in the same area. And I was like, oh, if I knew Paula Dean had a restaurant right here, we could have went to Paula Dean restaurant. Because
Wait a minute. There's a joke right there.
No, the joke is anybody that was offended over the fact that in her past she used the N-word. Have you ever heard Paula Dean talk? I would have been surprised if she said she hadn't. I'd have been like, that bitch lying. She lying. She said it right before they asked her that question. Like, whatever. But here's the thing. She fucking cooks great. So there's some things you're willing to overlook. She's a Southern woman. Nah, it probably happened. There are people who are not Southern that use that word. And I think that would probably be more offensive than a Southern person. Like, that's just the way of their life. So whatever. Had I known that, we would have went to Paula Dean, would have got fatty food, some smothered pork chops and some shit like that. I'm pretty sure she would have had like biscuits made of just butter. But anyway,
Hey,
we do Aquarium.
Can I just say one thing real fast?
Yeah.
Go fuck yourself.
Bruh. That's how I felt. I wasn't tell my wife that, but I couldn't say it because we was far from home and I couldn't go to jail. Plus I had like a great opportunity the next day. So we get up.
Wait, do you know why I said go? I'm
Why?
eating. I'm eating pre-made friggin' 500 calorie meals with under 500 milligrams of sodium.
Joe, I'm eating fucking fish while looking at fish, and one of the fish kept shitting. Like I don't, like what the fuck? Yeah,
But you get
so
to eat good food, you bastard.
it was good. I ain't gonna lie. so we get up the next day. It's the 12th. Now, mind you, we're in Nashville. Clarksville is roughly about 45 minutes to an hour north. So I get the call. He's like, "Hey, brother, man, I'm busy. You know, I had these meetings or whatever. I'm probably the worst host ever." And I'm like, "Nah, you called, so we're good." He's like, "Well, you'll get a text message, and it'll be the information for the Airbnb." And I'm like, "All right, bet." Take my wife to the mall. Um, First time ever, I took her in the mall, and she didn't see nothing she wanted or whatever. She was just ready to go, and I was like,
What?
she must be sick. She's not feeling well at all. So anyway, I get the text message. We hit the road. Boom, we're going. Myself, Passover. Hey, gefilte fish. So then, so I'm like, whatever. We on the road. We going now. Cars. The first cars had Rascal Flats. Right on the highway. That's what I felt like driving up and down the hills of Tennessee. I'm like,
Okay,
man.
first of all, that's not who originally sang that song. You're horrible at this game, but all right.
But I'm actually great because I said Cars, and the version that they sung was in the movie Cars.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. It wasn't Tom, what's his face, the original
No,
one
no,
from the
no, no,
90s.
no.
Okay,
It wasn't the original guy. But
okay.
thank you because I didn't. I thought that was originally theirs, but who knows? You know,
No.
white people have been stealing forever. Anyway, moving on. Ow, boom! This guy is
Damn!
on fire. So,
Oh!
so we're on the road. We get to the Airbnb. Um, so walk in, and they have like this note, you know, house rules, whatever, whatever. And I'm thinking, oh, okay, cool. So now, mind you, it's the day of. So then I get a text. Um, hey, is everything good? Whatever. Oh, so he calls me. DJ calls me. He's like, hey, I need your song for the night. This is all pre. So then we go get something to eat. We come back. I lay down. I take a nap. And while we're eating, one of the owners called. Come to find out, one of the owners is also the owner of the Airbnb. It's all gonna make sense in a minute now. So I'm like, okay, cool. He was like, I just wanted to make sure. He was like, if you need anything, let me know. Okay. So we get there. Now it's showtime. One of the things he asked me is what time you gonna be there. I say, I'm aiming to be there at 6:30. And he kind of hesitates. And I say, unless you need me there earlier, because the show starts at 7, right? And he's like, no, 6:30 is fine. Back. Boom. We get there. When I walk up to the door, the guy at the door, I don't know if he pays attention to the flyers or what, or if my beard not being black threw him off that much. But he went to ask me about a ticket, and I was like, I'm actually on the show. He didn't fight. He was like, oh, okay. And then the guy that I had talked to comes around the corner, and he's like, hey. And I'm like, hey, how's it going? He was like, it's going, how's it going, Rob? And I was like, yeah, I'm good, I'm good. He was like, okay, well, come, let me show you around. So my wife says, hey, is there anywhere in particular you would prefer that I sit? And he was like, well, there's no reservations tonight, so you can sit wherever you want to. She was like, all right, well, you know, this is not my first rodeo, so I'll sit back here. So the way that it was set up was the stage was in front, then you had the crowd, and behind the crowd was the bar. So she essentially sat at the back of the crowd, but close to the bar. So he walks me through. He's like, hey, there's the bathroom. Here's the green room. I'm like, all right. Walk in the green room. He's like, we got a refrigerator. I got to restock the drinks or whatever. And then the head waitress comes in. I assume she's the head waitress based upon the way she moved. And so, like, we end up striking this conversation. And then she says, well, who's hosting? And I say, from my understanding, DJ's hosting. And she says, huh. Well, if he can come on time. And I was like, don't tell me DJ is late. And she's like, we'll see. DJ was not late. He was barely early. Like it was like 5 minutes before the show. And he pops in, boom, hey man, what's going on? Hey brother, I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad we was able to do this. Da 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 da. And I'm like, yeah, me too. From that moment, for the rest of the weekend, it was almost like I was from Clarksville and they were basically just throwing me a party. Like that's what it felt like. Like she I was back and forth with the green room. So then my wife ordered something to eat and she orders me something. So then when I notice it, I go and sit down and I start to eat. Here comes the head waitress. She's like, hey, who's your waitress? And my wife says, oh, it was her. She was like, okay, because you're not supposed to pay for your food. And I was like, oh, so I didn't know and I didn't want to make an assumption. So we did that. So the first night I did the headline for the first show at 7 o'clock. So that I did anywhere between 45 minutes to an hour.
Oh, nice.
So then we're getting prepared for the charity show. Now DJ throws a comedy class. So the people that was in this comedy class came to support and do stage time. Once again, we sitting and we talking, and it's like I'm just one of them. Like, they didn't overly treat me like, oh, this is the headliner for the weekend, but they definitely didn't disrespect either. Like it was just a thing. Like we were homeboys. There was a show that was being put on, and we all just gonna do the show. And I was like, damn.
That's awesome.
And so there was one moment where they had this one guy, and I don't know if he does comedy or what he does, or if he dates one of the waitresses or whatever, but he says every time I come, I end up DJing. What? Like, is that a joke? Or like what? He was like, no, I came in one time and then the next thing I know, they got me in the DJ booth, and I'm like, what the? And I'm like, oh, okay. Now he looks like Slim Shady, like the new Slim Shady with the beard and everything. So the funny part is before he said it, that he was DJing, I had made a mention to my wife. I was like, oh, it looked like they got Eminem DJing or whatever. So then he says, while we're in the green room, he's like, yeah. And then, something went wrong, and they like, oh, look at this old low budget Slim Shady up here fucking up the music. And I'm like, bro, I called you Slim Shady earlier. And he was like, yeah, I get it. Everybody does it. And I'm like, oh, okay. And he's like, but it's not that hard. It's not a DJ set. Now, I'm standing here. He's standing here. And he says, now the green room is kind of parallel to the DJ booth. So he says, yeah, it's easy. Even a monkey can do it. And I was like, bro, did you just call me a monkey? And like, everybody else was like, yo, I saw that too. Like, again, almost like family. And some of the information was a bit much, because there's one dude, I call him one nut, because apparently he went to sleep one night and he woke up and his nuts twisted and he was in great pain.
Testicle,
yeah, so he had to go get an operation, and in the operating, I guess the nut had died, so they had to take the nut out. And he was like, yeah, man, it was rough for a week or so, until the hurt went down. And I was like, bro, you only got one nut? Like, they didn't even put like a prosthetic nut in there. Like, so you just got one nut just hanging. And I probably said that like 3 times before I realized I'm talking to a grown man about his nuts.
Well, do you think it's like losing a finger and you feel a ghost nut every now and then?
And I never made it that far, because then I started feeling diddy-ish, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna let it go. I don't really need to know about his nuts no more. Like, this is crazy. This is crazy. But yeah, so they go up and it's a great night. And so the Airbnb we stayed at wasn't that far from
I got a question pertaining to the actual show, if I
go
may.
ahead. Mm-hmm.
Because I'm sure other people were wondering also. So, this particular picture,
Mm-hmm.
did anybody ask when DJ Easy Rock was coming?
Nope, nope, not at all, not at all. And that's the craziest thing. So like, I
For
know that,
those who don't understand the reference, can you
and that's
please
I'm not even
explain?
gonna lie. Like that was the one thing I was worried about because I'm like, ah, DJ calls me Rob, but everybody else, I'm Robert. So when they put the flyer together, they put it together based upon how he said it. And I'm like, you gotta
Right.
be fucking kidding me. And I'm like, shit. I hope they don't think that like, I guess Rob Bass is like a kid from Kid and Play. He stopped doing music and now he's telling jokes and shit. And so, you know, he introduced me quite well, and nobody really questioned it. But here's the funny thing, right? Not because DJ is black, but I just kind of felt like it was going to be more of an urban setting. But it was a lot of white people in you know
Like
in the
Florida, old
show.
white people?
No, that was decent age, but it was like, but damn, that's crazy. And I think once again going back to the whole homie feeling, it was like after the first show. So there was a guy. He was visiting his girlfriend, but he lived like 3 hours away from her, and so all of them was hanging out. And so like after the show, like he just kind of came up and he was chopping it up, and he was like, "Man, you were funny," and blah blah blah. And he said something to my wife, and I think like his girlfriend was like a nurse, so that was kind of what tied my wife into the conversation. And like
Okay.
it was just like, yo, how did I sign up for this? Like, and it made me think, going back to the title of Know Your Worth, like it's fun here. You know, there was a time where, like in South Florida, like I would do shows, and I was definitely doing myself an injustice. Like I would drive from Port St. Lucie to Boynton, which is like an hour, 15 minutes, give or take, depending on traffic, for $20. Like, and then I would be mad on the way home because I'm like, not only did I only get $20, I drove an hour and 15 minutes here. Because of the caliber of comedy I do, they always would have me last. And then, even though I don't drink beer, you couldn't even offer me a beer.
Oh,
These people were like, I get to, and I shouldn't say these people, Joker Comedy House, like the head waitress was like, "You want a drink?" And I was like, "No, not right now." She was like, "All right, well, let me know." Because once again, you don't pay for it. And I'm like, okay. Um, when it was time, when it was time for the payment, I didn't have to find anybody. They was finding me. Like, hey, let's get this taken care of. Da-da-da. It was phenomenal. Like, I just, huh?
you're moving to fucking Tennessee, aren't you?
No, 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 no. It was, um, no. Like, it was not. We didn't see the living part. Let me say it that way. Like, even where the Airbnb was, like, it was kind of like a little neighborhood off in the cut. But because it was an Airbnb, like the neighborhood wasn't bad. The neighbors were, but the neighborhood wasn't bad. And so I didn't get to see, and somebody told me I didn't get to see the Clarksville part. And I'm like, well, I'm probably glad. Otherwise, we probably would have stayed in the Airbnb and not traveled nowhere. But if I were, I would be okay because Tennessee has Publix, so I could still get my pub subs or my chicken, you know, and still feel like I'm in Florida. So from that, it was great. It was it was fucking phenomenal. The feeling, like as we're leaving Saturday night to go back to the Airbnb, I'm not saying nothing, and my wife is like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "No, I'm good." She says, "Huh? So you taking it in?" And I'm like, "Yeah, like this is different." And like the Airbnb, it was on the smaller side, depending on what you was looking for, because it was like a two and a half, so 2 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, and it was decent. Like the TV worked. There was nothing that didn't work, um, and it was just like, wow. So these people just rolled out the red carpet for me like this. That's what's up. which then leads us to Sunday. Now, Sunday is a clean show. That show is like at 5 p.m. So we are so we go, and when we get there, man, it's like they picked up where they left off. Hey, Rod, what's going on? No, I'm good. How you doing? I'm great. Boom. Guess who popped up? Slim Shady. And so like I was like, you're not DJing tonight? Yeah, when I asked him, I said, you DJing tonight? He was like, nah, not tonight. They're not gonna trick me tonight. And I was like, oh, okay. And so
Well, you gotta explain that a clean show. How clean was it? A clean show is a clean show, no?
yeah, no profanity. I slipped in a hole, and that was about as profane as I got. Here's the funny part, and I know he said a clean show, but it wasn't until the show started where somebody was like, "Yeah, this is the church crowd." Church crowd. Oh man, there's a difference between they are, but I'm like, there's a difference between like clean and then church crowd. And then I think somebody was like, "Yeah, it's even a pastor in the audience." I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. So, recently in the black community, there's a gospel singer slash pastor by the name of Marvin Sapp. And so he goes viral for the wrong reasons. So he makes the statement that he wanted a certain amount of money taken up in the offering. And he starts the statement off by saying, "Ushers, close the doors." So basically, he told them to close the doors. And he was like, "I know we got X amount of people here. So, yeah, I expect $20 per person. And then, for the preachers, I'm looking for $100. So it got him in trouble because technically speaking, that's like false imprisonment.
Right.
But then I'm thinking about it. So this is my moment to fuck with DJ. So he tells me, "Hey, I need a clean song." Because the song that I gave him, that was not gonna work on the church crowd. It was like, I think the song starts, it's a Trick Daddy song. Trick Daddy is a Miami rapper, and it starts off, "Anybody want to motherfucking die? Come see me." Who like T double D? Yeah, and that's right. That's motherfucking me. If I said it out motherfucking minute, like he said motherfucker like 12 times in the first.
And we just got a copyright restriction. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. And then he hits this one famous line. "Hold up. Wait 1 motherfucking minute." Yeah, that wasn't gonna work for the church.
So Kyle's challenging you. He said, try doing Rocky Horror on a college campus in a church.
Yeah. But a lot of times people revamp churches. And so a lot of times there are things that they do in church because the church has been decommissioned, which I don't know how you decommission God, but whatever. So,
Did he pay his taxes?
I don't know. I think not.
I'm kidding. I didn't mean to throw you off. So
no, because you got to separate church from state and all of that. Yeah, whatever. I don't know what that means, but yeah. So I switched the song. So I send the head waitress up there. I'm like, "Hey, tell them to change the song to Marvin Sapp. Never would have made it." So, I know there was issues with the DJ and everything. So when he calls me up, they play the song that I asked them to play, but it wasn't the song that I sent him. And so like his eyes get big, and he like, "Oh, fuck, they done fucked up." And I was like, "Nah, bro, watch me cook." So I go up. I grew up in the church, and so there are certain things that are traditions. And so, when you speak before the church, there's certain ways that you do it. So I started off that way, and I was like, first and foremost, I want to give honor to God, who's head of my life. And I heard there's a pastor in here, so I want to give you respect for your place. I say, but right about now is the time where we're gonna go ahead and close the doors, and we're gonna ask y'all to take up an offering. And like they instantly got it, and so that was the icebreaker, and then we just went into the show. And so the thing with clean comedy is it's just dirty comedy without profanity. So I'd still use some of my material that I normally use. I just didn't curse. The funny thing is, and I think you've heard this joke about how I when I was dating, I wanted to go to the website that had the freakiest females on there. So I went to Christian Mingle. So I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna be able to do that joke. 'Cause I don't think that's gonna go over well. Well, one of the young ladies that performed that night, she was like, yeah, I was dating online, and I got tired of all the liars and the deceivers and the people that just out here just wanting to fornicate. So I got off of Christian Mingle, and it was kind of a. Then I'm thinking to myself, no, y'all should laugh because y'all know y'all got hoes there. Like that don't even make no sense. Like so, it was good. So even after that, we took pictures. There was the one young lady. So both of those uh, young ladies were from Memphis, which I found out Clarksville is like 3 hours away from Memphis. So I was glad to know that. Not that I was gonna go to Memphis, but good to know. So she showed me something that I forgot, kind of like, which is, there's two sides of a good comedian. With that being said, yes, I am saying she is a good comedian. Um, there is the stage person, and then there's the person off the stage. And a lot of times when you do well on stage, it's so euphoric that it carries over. And so then after the show and you're talking to people, it's like you're still in go mode. And when I tell you, this woman was fucking phenomenal after she got off the stage. Like, she did well on the stage, then she got off the stage and fucking just regular conversations just set shit on fire. And I was like, man, I would love to see her perform. So the show's over, right? And DJ says, hey, before you go, I want to talk to you. So I'm like, okay. And I know what's about to come. I know what's about to happen. Um, he says, listen, I'm sorry. One last pitch I got to paint. So you have the stage, right? And then right off to the corner of the stage is the DJ booth. So you can walk up to the DJ booth without interrupting the person on stage, but you do have to kind of walk a portion of the stage. So he says, well, the first thing I want to tell you, he was like, man, I'm sitting in the DJ booth and I'm watching the performance facing the crowd. And he says, I'm going to tell you, it's like, brother, you got it. It's like, you got to do it. You got to do it more. It was like, what I'm suggesting that I need from you is I need you to do it. I start up. Please get your pictures updated. He's like, start there. He was like, I would even suggest that you find a management team. He was like, brother, some people can do this and they can just do it as a hobby. And some people are meant to do it. And I'm telling you now, you're meant to do it. He said, a couple things I want to let you know. It's like, I got some things I'm working on and I want to get you involved in. He's like, but other than that, he says, I got to bring you back. He was like, but this time I'm going to take care of everything. Now, with that being said, I got paid. They took care of the Airbnb. And theoretically speaking, unless I wanted to eat somewhere else, they took care of the food. But we did have to pay to fly out there. And, and then we had to get a rental car or whatever. But he was like, the next time, you won't have to worry about nothing. Now, I don't know if he said it during the podcast or if he said it after the podcast, wherein he says, hey, you, I'm doing another special. And when I do that special, I want to bring you out and let you be the person that warms up the crowd. I'm like, cool. So I know that that's something that's happening, but all in all, in conclusion, this weekend was a weekend that had to happen. Because the part of the weekend that I'm not telling you about, and once I figure out how my spirit wants to present it, my aunt passing and the way that my family was reacting, the only fucking thing was missing was Tyler Perry in the dress. Like, this shit was a Medea movie that is just full of fuckery. And and I was glad that I wasn't there. I was glad that I wasn't going to be there because I didn't want to go through and hear no bullshit. So the weekend happened the way that it needed to, um, and yeah, man, it was great. Like to the point that we got back to the hotel room, the Airbnb. We made sure everything was situated. Whatever we were wearing for the flight back on Monday was already out. Suitcases was done. I think I slept like maybe an hour, and then she was like, "Babe, we need to get up and make our way. We got to go to Nashville. I don't know like what the traffic's going to be like at this time in the morning, and we don't want to take any chances. Definitely don't want to miss the flight." I'm gonna tell you this: that road, I can't remember what highway we were on, but from Clarksville to Nashville, don't drive that bitch at night or in the dark. Because at one point, like I could see the outlining of the mountains, but it looked like the road was gonna drive me smack dab into that son bitch. And I was like, yeah, I will never fucking do this. You don't have to go to Orlando to shoot a horror movie. Go to that highway and shoot that bitch at night. You're not gonna see not a much. You won't see nothing. And you could no, I'm gonna say it. And you can make the villain like somebody as dark as Wesley Snipes because you're not gonna fucking see them until they open their eyes. Like it was that dark. I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me, man. But yeah, man,
It's a different kind of dark.
Way different. Like shit, blade my ass. So yeah, so that was kind of how it went. And even in telling you that, like it's just so much, emotions behind it that I can't really explain. I remember when I did the improv the first time when they paid me. And there was a moment wherein I told my wife to sit down, I'm hosting, so I gotta go back and forth or whatever. I said, but order what you want. I had never gotten paid from the improv before that. So I didn't know what to expect. So I had made provisions. I was like, get whatever you want. I'll go ahead and I'll pay for it. Because someone did let me know, like the improv doesn't pay you until the last night. So when they book you for the weekend. So in this case, this was before COVID. So I had 5 shows, 2 on Friday, 2 on Saturday, and then 1 on Sunday. So I wasn't getting paid essentially till Sunday. So I go to the waiter and I say, hey, she's with me. So when it's time to check out, don't give her the bill, give me the bill. And he looks and he was like, hey, first and foremost, man, you funny. And then he says, second thing, if she with you, don't even worry about it. Just make sure I'm taken care of. She's taken care of. And I was like, cool. So that was kind of like the first time I felt some level of appreciation for what it was that I do. Clarksville, there's a saying in the hip hop community now. Clarksville and Joker Comedy House owes me nothing. And basically what that means is they showed me a time and I thoroughly enjoyed myself.
I see the shirt. I saw the shirt the whole time.
Yeah, so this is the back of the shirt. So
hold on a second. Let me give you a full. There you go.
So that's the back of the shirt, and then the front of the shirt is this. And I picked the shirt because purple is my favorite color, even though Joe says I look like Barney in it, whatever. But yeah, so yeah, man, it was good, and I think every night
it might have been Barney. I don't know.
It probably was both. Because I'm so relentless. Whenever people get a chance to go at me, they take full advantage. So you probably call me both. But every so often, you kind of need that recharger, and that's what this was. It was a moment that remotivated me to what it was that I wanted to do. Like I don't know what I would do if I didn't do comedy. You know what I mean? Like obviously I work, you know what I mean? That's the thing. But what would be that spark in my life if I didn't do comedy? And man, this weekend made it like, hey.
So you got that new spark, you got the camaraderie that was freaking amazing. And
yeah, can't wait to go back. Food. Yeah. Oh, and that's the other thing. So like sometimes like you go to these places, like so first and foremost, like it's a comedy club. Let's not get it twisted. It's not like it's a little bar. or whatever. It's a comedy club, but attached to the comedy club is a restaurant, and the fucking food was amazing. Like, oh my goodness. Oh, I was like, oh, I didn't want to order any barbecue because we was in Clarksville. We wasn't in Nashville anymore, and we definitely wasn't going to Memphis. But I was like, yo, this is, yeah, it was top tier. It was top tier. And they
So,
go ahead.
oh, I got a question that you mentioned earlier, or you were discussing earlier. So I'm curious. Like, we have an LLC for the Indie Escape Network,
Mm-hmm.
and our tagline is "Where Creatives Unite." So, as a creative, being a comedian, do you start your own LLC and start writing stuff off? Is that how that works, or?
So I'm pretty sure at some point it definitely has to happen. You know, that's the other thing. For anybody that doesn't know, I've done only one other show out of the state of Florida, and that was in Georgia. So that doesn't really count. Like I'm literally on the I could stand on the Georgia Florida line or on the Florida side of the Georgia Florida line and throw a rock and hit the place where I performed at. Like so it was that close to Florida and Georgia. This was the furthest that I had traveled for comedy and like was was the guy. So I hadn't again, you know, going back to where my mind was, I hadn't even thought about all of this stuff. Like there was another guy that's local and he frequents Casey and Spaz's show. And so he was like, yo, I'm telling you, you need an agent. But for me, I was like, do I really though? Not right now. Like I really need to build up this following. And I think that's the other thing. Like I gotta stop thinking like that. Like I think sometimes you do have to make a move that doesn't make sense yet, and then you grow into it. And I think that's what has to happen. So then, yes, you get to a point wherein okay, this show they didn't pay for the plane tickets and they didn't pay for the rental car, and they the first night we were there, you know, they didn't pay for the hotel, so then I could write that off. But yeah, so I think yeah, I definitely have to get to that point because at some point I do understand that there are going to be places where I have to put myself out there. Like I'm not going to try to sacrifice every show, but there are some places that I'm going to have to go that I'm going to try to go where I'm going to have to write off the entire trip. So and that might be a trip where my wife doesn't go because I'll eat Burger King and McDonald's,
But
but
plus, you're trying to build a brand as
and trying to
well.
build a brand. And that was the other thing. And that was kind of what he was saying. He was like, look, bro, like get the pictures, get you a team, build your brand because I'm telling you, it's there. You need to get on it. And so that was kind of the last conversation we had, like, you know, face to face. I did let him know, you know, when we landed. Bro, I'm so hyped. Again, I only slept 1 hour, roughly about 1 hour, maybe an hour and a half the night before we flew back home. So I'm thinking I'm gonna get on the plane. When I get on the plane, I'm gonna go to sleep. Everything will be fine. I could not fucking sleep. Like, cause now I'm thinking my mind is like, okay. So the first thing I thought about was, hey, all right,
I didn't
this
text
show,
Joe back when he texted me at 11
yeah,
o'clock on Saturday night.
yeah, no,
Oh, that's not the first
maybe,
thing you thought of? Okay.
no, not at all. I was like, fuck Joe. No, so I I was like, actually, it probably was because I was like, I got to get with Joe to let him know I don't plan to have a guest for this show. I just want to talk about this weekend. So it wasn't the first thing, but it was top three.
Oh, no,
It'd
I
be
was
top three.
excited for you. I even said, hey, once your adrenaline comes down, let me know
Yeah,
how it goes.
yeah,
Because
definitely.
I had
And
the utmost faith and confidence that you were going to kill
oh,
it.
it was crazy. And and
That's right. He can't
I,
sleep because he is Robert Bass superstar.
it and it felt that way. Like it felt that way without like a bunch of ass kissing, if that makes sense. Like
Mm-hmm.
they made me feel like, hey, this is about you. So do what you do. And it gave me the freedom to do what I do. And man, it's the greatest feeling in the world. Like even now, like almost a week later, I'm still floating. Like,
You're
yo,
on cloud nine.
I can't wait for the next opportunity. And the other thing is I've known DJ over 10 years. What I can definitely say is he's definitely a man of his word. Not worried about that, but I can't wait another 10 years, right? Like make the moves and in making the moves, I don't doubt he's gonna do what he said he was gonna do. Let me make that clear. But it shouldn't be a thing where I'm waiting for him to do that. Like let me do the thing that makes him reach out sooner. Real quick, because I know we're coming up on the end. So we get there, right? We get the rental car and we're in Nashville, and my wife's like, "Hey, I need to go by the store, grab a couple things. So let's find the closest Walmart." So find the closest Walmart. Mind you, my wife never met DJ, and I don't think she watched. And by don't think she watched, I know she didn't watch the episode where DJ was on there. So we go down the aisle, and she's like, "Okay," and I'm like, "Well, I didn't bring any products for my beard, so I need to get some conditioner
Oh,
because I
tell
don't
me
know."
he was on a fucking box
So
down the
so
aisle.
I'm like, let's go. I need to get like the travel size conditioner or whatever. And as I'm walking, we pass by the beard stuff, which then leads us to pass by the razors. And who the fuck is sitting there? And so I say to her, I say, "Hey, babe, come here. Let me show you something." So she comes down and say, I I point to the box. I say, "This is DJ." I say, "This is the guy that brought me out." Everything in her face said, "I'm fucking tired, and don't fucking play with me like on some bullshit." So you just find a black dude on the shaving box, and now you
On a
just feel like
random
playing around.
box.
Yeah, a random shaving box, and I was like, I felt that energy, and I was like, "Okay, well, let me get the stuff," and we left. So when she saw him, I think it clicked, like, "Oh shit."
Oh, that's the guy in the
That's
box.
that's the guy on the box. So okay, so my husband ain't get us out here in the middle of fucking nowhere on some bullshit. And so
Gonna
yeah,
get murdered
yeah,
in the
yeah.
horror
Like,
movie in the dark
oh man,
roads, and
my wife is easy to please. There was two of her favorite restaurants there: Texas Roadhouse and Waffle House. Boom, we was good.
oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so it was a good time. It was a good time. So I know we're about to close out. Um, we got to
Hey,
get
I wasn't rushing you.
no, I know. But we gotta stick to getting into a program. And I think the other thing is, with that being said, this is part of my brand too. And I got to make sure that I do everything that I need to as it pertains to this. I want to build the followers. I want to make sure that the people who do follow your Kyles, and everyone else is your J Dubs. I know I didn't see him tonight, but I know generally he does. Like, all of those people feel as appreciated as I did when I went to do that show. And then, we're gonna build, and that's what's gonna happen. And I think, a part of that branding also is, you know, um, for the shows that I don't take my wife, make provisions where I can take somebody else or have somebody such as a DJ or somebody who is at the venue to record, because you kept asking like, "Hey, send me pictures, send me clips." And I think the clips was the part that kind of rubbed me a little raw, not because you was asking for it, but because I couldn't provide it. You see what I'm saying? Like, if you're gonna
Yeah.
brand something and you're gonna talk about something, like, words are great, but to be able to see it is something totally different. So, even as I do shows locally, because I think I got another one with Don't Tell. It's either the 30th of this month or the 30th. It's the 30th of next month, because I remember it's after my wife's birthday. And usually they'll sneak one in between the times that they tell me. But shows like that, I got to be able to get clips, because my whole set is not always my set. Like, there are clips or things that happen in the moment that I'm more than willing to share. Like, obviously I don't want to give away all my material, whatever the case may be. But at the same time, if you're gonna brand yourself, you're gonna brand yourself, and people need to know, like, hey, what am I getting if I come? Are you one of those comedians who build their stage time off of ragging on the audience? No, I'm not that guy. Now, I may have a moment where I may say something to someone, but it's not a bashing thing, and then it's not a part of the routine where I just keep going. Oh, and then this guy over here, is that your wife? No, I'm not that guy, because you paid to see me perform. you know, and even if it's not a show where I'm headlining, you still paid to be there. And what you didn't pay, I can't remember who it was. I want to say it was either Steve Harvey or the late great Bernie Mac that said, I don't fucking go to a rap concert to rap your songs. Bitch, I go to see you rap them. So no, you put the mic back to your mouth and you fucking rap the song. So you didn't come to be a part of my show. You came to watch my show. So I don't do that. But everything from here for is about the brand and how we're gonna move it. Need a show near Orlando between October 11th and the 17th. Hint, hint. Bet. I'm on it because I still got the Superman shit that we got to do. So Kyle, not Kyle. So J Dub can tell me that he apologizes because this Superman sucks. He got a fucking dog.
Well, no, he's on the Fantastic Four rampage right now. That's going to be the best movie of the year with Superman in July.
Okay. Okay, I'm leaving it at that. But okay, what did you say? October 10th and 11th.
October 11th through 17th.
Through the 17th. Okay.
So wait a minute, Kyle. If you're
I'm assuming Kyle gonna be in town.
I mean, we're down here, man. Why don't you guys come down here? We'll show you a good time.
I mean, either or.
Or we can all go to Port City or go to all right.
Either or, because I mean, like you know, Joe, you've heard it. My wife loves Orlando. Shit, the only thing missing is us having a fucking house in Orlando. So going to Orlando wouldn't be a problem. But I mean, shit, we only like 2 hours away, depending on what part of Orlando you in. So yeah, no, I'll put that down. I have something that I'm working on for the next week. I don't want to say something and then not next week, but the next show. I don't want to say it and then it doesn't happen. But I think the way that I want to do it now, depending on what happens between shows, this is the part where I want to start having guests back to back. I think this show had to be what this show was because I had to address this, Clarksville. And so from here forth, there is a comedian that I want to get in contact with, and I know that he's aware of it. So he's probably waiting for me to reach out. As soon as I get the yes. Again, going back to branding, because I always say this, I got to be quicker in getting you the stuff, and then I got to be better at promoting it without you having to post something, and then I share it. So
I want to ask something about comedians. Are they same as actors? Do you know what a sizzle reel is?
I don't know if that's what they call it, but sometimes I see
taking
reels
a bunch of
on
clips of your work.
Oh, you're talking about that? I thought you was talking about porn. So
no. Actors
so generally
have
speaking,
I believe it's called a sizzle reel, where they combine a bunch of their work clips.
Yeah. So people, comedians do it. I don't know any myself per se, outside of when they're advertising, if that makes sense, right? So,
but sir,
I know
you have an IMDb page that you should have all this stuff on.
I should. And so here's the thing, right? So I know that like a lot of times, like with these festivals, outside of paying for a submission, they want a video, and a lot of times what they don't want is something that you put together, splice together. So let me speak for myself. I don't have one. But at the same time, in having this conversation, I gotta work better.
Brand is that IMDb page.
Yeah, so I definitely gotta do better. So yeah, man. And
then we're gonna shut up.
One last thing. So
no, go ahead.
Outside of Clarksville, right? Outside of the Joker Comedy House, once everything started getting posted, so I'm sitting and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, yo, I probably should have let them know, like, hey, do one of those videos, but I felt so cheesy and it wasn't coming out the way that I wanted it to. Like, hey, Clarksville, the Joker Comedy House, this is Robert Bass. I'm on my way. I'll be there, April 12th, blah, blah, blah. Like, I did a couple of them, and I was like, I'm not fucking sending this shit out. So then that's when video.
I saw the one that you did do, and I was like,
yeah,
those are my pictures. Those are my pictures.
So I was like, that's for me, that was a little bit easier. So I did that. But even the love that I got from that for people who weren't gonna be there, but somewhat knew my journey, it was just a great fucking weekend. All right, I'm done.
Right? It's a fucking amazing.
It was awesome.
We're very happy for you.
And
I'm
the
freaking
and the
ecstatic
one
for you.
the one thing that people don't realize is a lot of times when I put my mind to it, it's very intentional. So the song is called "Still on My Way," and so what the song states is like, basically my journey. Like, hey, everybody's asking like when he's gonna pop, when he's gonna reach it to the top. Well, I'm still on my way. The top don't seem too far from me. So it
For you
was
white folks out
intentional.
there, for the white folks out there, White Snake made a song like that. Here I go again on my own.
Right. I know that. I'm not fucking white. Here I go. And I'm going to stop because I don't want to have to pay them. But no, I know it. On my own. Come on, man.
Going down the only road you've ever known.
Here's the problem with you, Joe. You forget we in the same age bracket. We both grew up on MTV. MTV was there before I got BET. White people call it Bet. But so
I never called
grew up
ever.
I grew up on all of that. Duran, all of that shit. So yeah, I mean, I might not be able to tell you their songs, but if I hear it, I can sing along with it. But I know who Duran is. So, but yeah, no, I knew that song. Fucker.
So it's a white person equivalent.
Look, man, I already told you I'm transitioning into my caucasity.
That explains the hat and the gingham check shirt.
Yeah, whatever. Fuck
All
you,
right, wrap it up, brother. Where can people? Well, damn, that's a nice jacket.
Very white.
Not as nice.
Look at my arm, my elbow patches. This is very white.
Yeah.
Well, hello, folks.
You're gonna go golfing and have a spot of tea.
Yes. So listen, people. Here's the thing, right? Like I stated, locally, I know the next show that I have booked is a Don't Tell show. Don't Tell show. Basically, there's an organization called Don't Tell Comedy, and basically what they do is pop-up shows. So in essence, I can't tell you where the show is, and they usually don't let me know until 2 days before. But even still, the way that they operate is you go to the website, you put in the city that you're close to, and they let you know when the show is going to be, and then 2 days before they let you know where to go. I did also in having this feeling that I had over this weekend, I reached out to a couple people that I know that either are associated with comedy clubs or actually run comedy clubs, and I just let them know, like, hey, look, I'm still here. I'm still doing what I do, and I still do it on a high level. Don't forget me when you're looking for a host or a feature until you realize like I'm really that dude that can headline. Just keep me in mind. And so, I got some fillers out there. As far as the Orlando thing, like I definitely feel like that's something that can definitely happen because I got to get in contact with people in Orlando. Like I say, my wife loves that. So in the meantime, however, this is me just spitballing stuff. Whenever a show is booked, as long as you follow me on my Facebook page, which is Comedian Robert Bass, I also have a comedy fan page, which is World Klass Clown Comedy, just the way that you see it at the bottom of the screen. Class is with a K. I'm also World Klass Clown on X, which used to be Twitter. I am Comedian Robert Bass on TikTok. And I recently signed up for, is it Threads? So I got to get a little active on that. But even on that, I'm still World Klass Clown. Classes with a K. So the goal is to start posting more shows, more bookings.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Where can they find you every other Thursday night?
And every first and third Thursday of the month, you can find me here with Joe Fat Ass. No, I'm joking. He's not as fat as he used to be. But you can find me here on the Indie Escape Network with Joe or whatever guest I have at that time.
Damn, that's like pulling teeth.
No, I got to get into a rhythm and a habit of it. But I'm gonna start practicing.
Ladies and gentlemen, again, if you haven't already, please go to our socials, give us a like and follow. Doesn't cost you a thing. Takes
Yeah,
seconds
especially
and
follow, like follow, and the
yes,
likes will come.
follow. There you go.
You know what I'm
And
saying?
last comment of the night. Uh, I have Kyle. Have you been smoking, drinking? Oh, class with a. I think this was a class with a K because like cool. The word ends. Okay, Kyle's cut off.
Um, so I do want to say this. Life is an amazing trip, and sometimes we fail to take it the way that we need to. I joke about traveling, from Clarksville to Nashville at night, how dark, and you can run into a mountain and everything. But during the daytime, it was beautiful. It was a beautiful scene. And in that moment, I realized this is where my life has brought me. The kid that used to joke because he was awkward or whatever the case may have been, brought me to this moment, brought me to this point. And if there's anything that you have in your life that you love, even if you feel that it's just a hobby, give it the love and the respect that it deserves, and you might be surprised what it gives you back in return. So I thank you for tuning in tonight on behalf of myself, on behalf of Joe, and on behalf of the Indie Escape Network. Hey, until the next time, be great. And when they don't want you to be great, be greater. Fuck them.
Let me find that.